Hi guys, so I want to go over weather map number 3, and this one in particular, a lot of you struggled with. And I think the reason is because it was asking you to make a forecast to predict what type of weather was coming. So this map shows you what the weather was like on a certain Monday in the United States, and it asked you to predict what the weather would be like the next day on the Tuesday in each of the cities. And so in order to do that, you have to first look at what type of weather the city is currently having, and then look to the west of that city to see what type of weather is on its way for the Tuesday. So we're going to go through each of the cities. The first one was New York. So if we look over here at New York, we can see that right now it's 28 degrees and it has a kind of half circle, which means partially cloudy skies. And so if we look to the west of New York, there isn't really a lot of weather right nearby. There's no fronts that are very close. There's no way that this front, which is in the middle of the country, would have enough time in one day to get all the way to New York. So there's not a lot of weather directly nearby New York. So because there's not going to be any weather kind of moving in, we can expect the same type of weather is going to continue. So we would expect that Tuesday's forecast for New York would be partly cloudy because today is partly cloudy and there's no sort of big change on the horizon. The next city was Chicago. So if we look at Monday's weather for Chicago, we can see that it is cloudy, fully colored in circle, which means cloudy. And there are these little circles indicating snow. So it's cloudy and it's snowing in Chicago today. To look at what it would be like tomorrow, again, you have to look to the west of Chicago. So Chicago is here. If we look to the west, you can see that there is this cold front right to the west. So in a day's worth of time, knowing that cold fronts move relatively fast, definitely faster than warm fronts, we can expect that this cold front will have crossed over Chicago and be sitting kind of right behind it, and all of that cold weather that is behind the cold front will be directly over Chicago. So our best forecast for Chicago would be cooler temperatures. The third city was Boise. So if we look over here at Boise, today we can see that it has clear skies. To figure out what our weather would be like tomorrow, we have to again look to the west. Towards the west, you can see that there's a warm front with rain directly behind it. In a day's worth of time, we can expect that that warm front will have traveled over and past Boise, so it'll be warmer, and all of that rain that is right behind the front will also be over Boise. So the best forecast would be warmer with rain. The fourth city was Minneapolis. So if we look, Minneapolis right now just had that cold front pass and it has clear skies currently. There is not a lot of weather directly to the west of it, so we would expect that this type of weather would continue because there's nothing indicating that a major change is happening directly to the west. So we would expect for Minneapolis that the best forecast would be clear skies and cold. The fifth city was Dallas. So if we look down here at Dallas, right now Dallas is having rain and it has partly cloudy skies. If we look to the west of Dallas, you can see that there is this cold front right approaching it. We can expect that in a day, that cold front will have moved over Dallas and past it, and all of that cold weather that is sitting behind the front will now be sitting directly over Dallas. So the best forecast for Dallas would be cooler temperatures. If we look at our sixth city, which was Billings, you can see that right now it has clear skies. If we look to the west of Billings, this warm front and this rain is approaching Billings. Depending on how fast this warm front is moving, it's likely that it will have just passed Billings, so we will have warmer weather with rain. And then our last city was Los Angeles, right here, which is currently having partly cloudy skies. If we look to the west of it, you can see that there is this high pressure system that will likely have moved over, and high pressure, happy weather. We would expect nice, clear, sunny skies.